Let's mine this out really quickly.
Doors are closing at the only two Portland Walmarts, and hundreds of customers are left finding a new place to shop.
Fox 12's Connor McCarthy spoke to some of those customers and joins us live now in Southeast Portland to tell us how this will impact how many low-income Portlanders, rather.
Well, Pete and Riel, this Walmart location here on Southeast 82nd Avenue is one of two Portland locations that will be closing. The other is in North Portland on Hayden Meadows Drive. Now, I spoke to customers at both locations, and they say the closing of these Walmarts will have a huge impact on their neighborhoods. It's a closure that will impact hundreds of Portlanders.
I was kind of shocked. It is a store that we go to for things like, laundry detergent, trash bags, the essentials.
Walmart is closing its only two Portland locations.
Don't cry. Don't cry, baby girl.
Leaving many customers who rely on the big box store unsure of where to go next. Amanda Paul is a regular shopper at the Walmart on Southeast 82nd. She relies on the store's affordable prices to keep her family well stocked.
Safeway is the go-to store if I have to, but that's 3 times the prices that I would spend here. So, what are we going to do? You're going to have to go further? Well, then you got gas money, so you might as well just pay for it at Safeway at this point.
Walmart says they're closing both Portland.
She is a smoker, ain't she?
Locations because they were not meeting financial expectations. But customers wonder if it's shoplifters impacting the store's bottom line.
We got to resolve the shoplifting one way or another. If that is simply the problem, it's got to stop.
It's not just Amanda, but many households in the Lentz neighborhood surrounding Walmart rely on the store to meet their needs.
So what you're seeing, right, and this is leading into a much bigger story in a completely different place. But what you're seeing today, ladies and gentlemen, is you're seeing the impact of what it is that we've embraced as a culture. And when I say as a culture, I'm not just talking about as black culture. I'm talking about Western culture. I'm talking about liberal policies. I'm talking about us not holding each other accountable and not bringing shame back. And instead of dealing with things how we used to deal with them as far as harshness, make an example out of people, and not letting the criminals run the asylum, what we've done is we've given them a leg up on the rest of society. And so this is what then happens as a result of it, right? When Walmart is closing every location in your city, when Walmart is pulling out because they can't keep anything on the shelves because it's so much easier for people to just walk in and steal and walk back out because they know that nothing is going to happen to them, that's a problem. It's a cultural problem. It's an issue within the community. It's something that we need to deal with accordingly. We should not continue to embrace the pookie-dom and the nigger-dom. And now you see these good white women and white folks starting to experience it because now they're sitting there complaining that it's going to be a food desert. They're not going to have anywhere to shop. Oh, my God.
According to a 2017 Portland State University study, the Lentz neighborhood is considered to be a food desert. This means there's no easy access to affordable groceries for one of Portland's poorest neighborhoods. At the time, the study named the Walmart and a Winco nearby as the closest affordable stores for groceries in the neighborhood. After March 24th, there will be just Winco.
We live near some low-income housing, and I know that some people are here weekly, so I don't know where they're going to go.
Let's move over really quickly. Let's move over into a completely different part of the country or a completely different city.
700,000 people left California in the last 2 years.
This is not a new phenomenon. We're no longer the magnet we used to be.
Some of our viewers might think this is not a bad thing because there's a lot of traffic and the housing costs are really high here.
That's not the case because you have to ask yourself, why are people moving out of the state? We interviewed corporate CEOs as to what's your future in California? And what we heard back was, we're thinking of leaving the state. We can't survive here.
My guest today is Dr. Jim Doty, President Emeritus and the leading economist at Chapman University. His research team has been studying the root cause of why people are leaving California.
California is the second highest taxing state.
But Governor Newsom mentioned that 95% of people in Texas pay more than Californians.
That's just not true. Governor Newsom, his basic message was, we are following the right policies in California. We are moving in a different direction. And I pointed out, yes, we are moving in a different direction. We're moving out of the state. People are moving with their feet.
But here's the problem with that. Here's the problem with that. Even though people are moving away from California, they're taking themselves with them. Even though people are moving away from Portland, they taking themselves with them. I seen what y'all did to Atlanta. Y'all went down to Atlanta. Y'all spread more diseases than in a third world country, according to the CDC. You messed up the culture. I literally visited Atlanta multiple different times and walked in different neighborhoods, including downtown, and it is a horrific situation. Horrific. You let the rappers come in and take over. You complain about the district attorney and all of that, trying to clean it up by getting people locked up. You said defund the police, and you almost voted in one of the most liberal women, and as far as being your governor down there in Atlanta. And you know what the funniest part about that whole situation is that the majority of the people that was down in Atlanta or is down in Atlanta right now is not even from Atlanta. The majority of the people that's in Atlanta is not even really from Atlanta. And you know what y'all trying to do now? You're trying to turn Texas blue. Texas don't even want y'all. Texas don't even want y'all. Now y'all running to Houston. You're trying to get yourself in Dallas. You can't afford to go to Austin because all of the millionaires that's from California went over to Austin.
I'm Siamai Korami. Welcome to California Insider. Jim, it's great to have you back on.
Even though people were moving out of the state. But now that net domestic migration has reached such highs that it has overwhelmed both foreign migration and the natural rate of increase. And that's why, as you point out, Siamuk, the overall population of California, for the first time in the last couple of years, has decreased rather significantly. We were close to 40 million in population, and now we're closer to 39 million.
If you go and visit California, I'll be in California at the end of this month. I'm supposed to go and kick it with my dog. I was just talking to him on the phone the other day, Marcus Wiley. A lot of y'all may not know Marcus Wiley, but he's a former NFL athlete and also a sports commentator. Really cool guy. Shout out to my dog, Jay Woodfin. Jay Woodfin is the connection between me and Marcus Wiley. And Jay Woodfin is also a bag chaser. So shout out to my bag chasers. If y'all not a part of the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. We have an incredible network. Y'all wouldn't even know that there's some celebrities and some bag chasers or some celebrities and some highly influential people that got a lot of money and visibility, and they just switch over their email and they switch over their username or they sign up to their wife and stuff like that. That's bag chasers. Amongst us bag chasers, there are some of the top 1% of people in the country. Shout out to my Patreon members. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. But if you go over to California, what you'll find is some of the worst conditions. Marcellus Wiley. I don't know why I'm saying Marcus Wiley. I was saying Marcus because me and Charleston White was talking about Marcus Jordan dating Larson Pippen last night in an upcoming video that I'm about to release for the bag chasers. But Marcellus Wiley is the name. I'm thinking of Marcus Jordan. You know, the one that's dating Scottie Pippen's ex-wife that Future used to buzz down and he making her his chick. I'm getting the people confused. I'm sorry about that. But if you go and visit California specifically, right, it's some of the worst conditions that I've ever seen. Even when I flew out there to stay and then, do the Dr. Phil show. Man, it smells like piss. I mean, you can walk down Skid Row, you can drive down any other street and all of this other type of stuff. It's a horrible, horrible environment for you to be able to raise kids in, and it's expensive at the same time.
Now, you mentioned the scary part was this trend started. Now, some of our viewers might think this is not a bad thing because there's a lot of traffic and the housing costs are really high here. When we lose people, probably things will get better. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, that's not the case, because you have to ask yourself, why are people moving out of the state? It's the people may not be moving out of the states by, let's say, a manufacturing worker. That manufacturing worker may not be paying all that much in taxation and may not see the tax advantages of Texas or Florida, where income taxes are zero, as necessarily the lure. The thing that may be leading that person to move out of the state is the fact that he or she may have lost his or her job, and as a result of seeking job outside of the state. So job formation outside of the state is greater. As a result, many manufacturing workers, especially in Los Angeles, which lost something like 500,000 manufacturing jobs, are moving up because they're following a job formation.
Such as Tesla making their official headquarters over in Austin, Texas. SpaceX is over there too. And it's a lot of places that's actually embracing what's happening. All of the semiconductor chip companies are being built in the South, and they being built in Texas and things like that. And the taxes, the way people vote. Unfortunately, one of the problems with this whole narrative, and one of the problems that's happening or is going to happen throughout these states, and I hate to say it, and hopefully it doesn't happen in my lifetime, but I think that it's going to. What you're finding happening in Texas is that there's a wave of people that are leaving because of the conditions that they've created for themselves. You voted for these people. People literally re-voted back in the California governor that did a horrible job of managing how it was that you were supposed to move during the pandemic. Now, DeSantis did a phenomenal job. I mean, Texas, as far as the governor down in Texas and then DeSantis over in Florida, it never closed. Never closed. As a matter of fact, I moved there and I stayed there, and we had a ball. I said, man, I might have to move and take my conservative values and views from Michigan over into Florida. But you know me, I like pain, I like suffering. And so as a result, I decided to make sure that I stay right here in good old Michigan with blue Democrat Governor Gretchen Whitmer that helped to get Biden elected. But instead of running from the thing that I hate the most, I'm the type of person that hunkers down and then tries to galvanize the community and pour into my community by being a thing that I want the community to change into, and I don't run from it, right? And so me and all of my good friends and my white hot people, we continuing to move and migrate into the city and into Detroit, and it is becoming a phenomenal place to be. I absolutely love Detroit, and that's how I split my time. I split my time between Detroit and then mostly Miami, Florida. And then sometimes I travel over to Tampa, and then I head down to the Keys, and then I'll take my daughter and my wife over to Orlando so that they can go to Universal Studios and things like that. But Governor Greg Abbott down in Texas, and then Governor DeSantis down in Florida, who, by the way, took on Disney and won. And hopefully he doesn't run for president, because I think that Florida has possibly one of the best governors that they've had in a very, very long time. The problem with people is that they've taken themselves with them. Everybody that's moving over to California still feel the way that they feel, and that's how they turned it into, or moving from California over to Austin or over to Dallas or all of these other cities down in Texas. Every time I open up my Instagram feed, I see a house and people are advocating, come move to Texas, come move to Texas, come move to Texas. And then I see the people in Texas saying, Texas is full, don't come here. Texas is full. Don't come here. Don't come here. They already about to turn Georgia blue. They about to turn Atlanta into San Francisco. Atlanta been San Francisco when it comes to the LGBT community, but they about to turn it into San Francisco when it comes to all of the stealing and willing and killing and the policies. They moving over to Texas, and they bringing their bad values and their thoughts with them. And they not adding anything into the community. Instead, they embracing these horrible thoughts and cultures, such as the J. Prince mob ties, We had a conversation about that too. Listen, I can't wait to drop that interview. I sent it over into my editor today. We definitely gonna get that up for the bag chasers and the Patreon members. The link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. So let's look at this. See, Taylor Anderson felt the need to give me $5. Oh shoot. Let me go back. I'm gonna read your super chat, Taylor. Don't worry. Every city is still better than Detroit. It's not true. I won't even entertain the ignorance. You have no clue of what you're talking about. As anybody that I've flown here, anybody that I've brought into the city, what it is that they experience, and they will tell you it is one of the best hidden gems out there. And I'm not even going to say that too much. I'm not going to advocate too much for that, simply because we don't want y'all here either. We don't want y'all Californians. We don't want y'all New Yorkers. We certainly don't want y'all people that move to Atlanta and then trying to come back, trying to mess up our city of what it is that we built. We built a phenomenal city. Riverwalk, popping. Downtown, awesome. Everything that's happening in Midtown, Corktown, Mexican Town, everything is popping. We love what we got building here in Detroit. And I'm a part of that fabric and that infrastructure that never left and is going to continue to rock with it. We got new high schools, we got a lot of things popping over here in the city. And we don't want y'all, so go, yep, it's better. Stay where you at. Stay in your dump that y'all want to be in. We good.
They're going to areas where they could get, a job, a higher paying job. And that's happening because businesses are leaving the state. And that's a negative. Why are they leaving the state? In their case, they are seeking areas where taxes are lower, housing prices are lower, and business regulation is less than what it is, less prohibitive. And environmental regulations are such that they could conduct.
Somebody says New York is definitely not coming to Detroit. And I'm cool with that. Because you know what I know about New York? Y'all can't even control y'all rat problem. Both from the dudes that's snitching and from it's people that got $80 million penthouses that got rats running around in their penthouses. Please don't talk to me about how awesome New York is. It's a good place to visit, certainly not a great place to necessarily live. Y'all can't even help yourself. Please don't let me go in on New York. Please don't let me go in on New York. I will have a field. I can sit here and cap on New York all night long. I might just do a special live stream tonight before I do the Lapeef Let's Talk show about New York. Absolutely. I love to hear where y'all from because I've been to some of y'all cities and I even been to some of y'all neighborhoods and some of y'all neighborhoods look like a piece of shit. Some of y'all neighborhoods look like a piece. When I go over here, let me tell you what my neighborhood is like. Just a second. When I look out my window, we in the Great Lakes state. This is what I look at every day. All I see is water. All I see is lakes and water. This is what I see every day when I look outside of my window. All right? We straight here in Detroit. We don't need any kind of problems. We don't need you trying to move over into our state. We good. Yeah. Don't move here. We good. Don't worry. We'll be jet skiing in the summer, having boat parties and all of that. You stay in that dirty ass, punk ass New York, where y'all can't even catch a subway train without getting mugged. It's like the Warriors over there. You stay where you at. Y'all continue to go to Atlanta. You continue to take care of and make sure that you take care of what's happening down in Houston. Y'all keep being a part of y'all phenomenal communities out there. And we gonna stay here where we at, all right?